Hello, students! Welcome to our video lesson. Let's start. Open your copybooks and write down the date. Today is the 13th of May, Thursday. An article about a town. Сегодня мы с вами научимся писать небольшую статью о городе с историческими фактами. Let's continue our lesson. Open your students' books at page 111. Aims of the lesson. Цели нашего урока. You are going to study a model text. Сегодня на уроке вы изучите текст, который будет служить образцом для написания вашей статьи о городе. You are going to learn about time expressions. Также мы с вами выучим временные выражения, которые вы будете использовать при написании вашей статьи. You are going to learn key phrases for talking about a place. Также вы изучите фразы для того, чтобы писать о каком-то месте или городе. You are going to write an article about the history of London or another city. И в конце нашего урока вы научитесь, как писать статью с историческими фактами о городе или конкретно о Лондоне, или о любом другом городе на ваше усмотрение. Let's watch the video. The video is about the city of Liverpool, its historical buildings and what is the most famous for, football and music. Let's watch.
This is Liverpool, a large city in the northwest of England. It's got a population of about 500,000. And it's a busy city that combines the old and the modern. There's a large port on the River Mersey. Today, the port is a World Heritage Site, and many of the city's most famous places are here. This is Albert Dock. It's part of the port and is 150 years old. It's old, but it's a lot prettier than industrial areas in other English cities. From here, you can see famous buildings such as the Royal Liver Building, with its famous statues of the two liver birds, the Cunard Building, and the Port of Liverpool Building. Together, these buildings are called the Three Graces, and they're an important part of the city's impressive skyline. Liverpool is a very popular tourist destination, and every year over 1 million people visit the city. They go to the city's excellent museums and fantastic art galleries, but it's most famous for two things: football and music. There are two big football clubs, Liverpool and Everton, and thousands of people watch both teams play every week. In fact, Liverpool FC is an enormous club, and it's popular all over the world. Tourists come from many different countries to visit its stadium, Anfield. They also visit this, the Cavern Club. It's a small music club in the centre of the city, and it's famous for the 60s pop group The Beatles. Liverpool is very proud of John, Paul, George and Ringo, and all over the city there are statues and posters of the band. Liverpool is smaller than other major English cities like London or Birmingham, but it's got a very interesting history and culture. It isn't surprising that it's one of the most famous cities in the country.
Okay, students, let's continue our lesson. There are some key phrases for you. City history. История города. Listen, repeat and write down them in your vocabulary copybooks. Послушайте, повторите и запишите данные фразы. Is a city in the north of. Today the population is. It's on, it's near. By the century, between, and people first lived in. You will use these phrases for your article. Вы будете использовать данные фразы для написания вашей статьи о городе. Read and listen to the text. History in the streets, Liverpool.
History in the streets, Liverpool. Liverpool is a city in the north of England. It is on the River Mersey and near the Irish Sea, and it has a big port. Two people first lived in Liverpool about 800 years ago. In the 16th century, only about 500 people lived there. Today, the population is about 450,000 and the city is more famous as the home of the Beatles than as a port. 3. By the 17th century, ships regularly sailed from Liverpool to North America and the West Indies. It became an important port for transatlantic trade and some people in the city became very rich. In 1818, passenger boats also started going to North America. This made Liverpool a hub for people emigrating to America from all over Europe. Between 1830 and 1930, 9 million people left Europe via Liverpool for North America and Australia. 4. In the 19th century, the boats were much slower than they are today and it took 35 days to reach America. Today a ship can cross the Atlantic in 5 days.
There are some new words for you. Port, population, famous, ships, trade, century. Now let's do exercise number 1. Read the model text, match paragraphs 1 to 4 with topics A to D. A. Comparing past and present. B. Later history. C. Early history. D. Location. You may stop the video and you may do this task. Now let's check. Number 1, it's D. Location. Расположение. Number 2, C. Early history. Ранняя история. Number 3, B. Later history. Поздняя история. Number 4A. Comparing past and present. Сравниваем прошлое и настоящее этого города. Let's do exercise number 3. Study the key phrases, match the key phrases with paragraphs from 1 to 4. City history. You may stop this video and you may do this task. Let's check. Is a city. Paragraph 1. Today the population is. Paragraph 2. It's on, it's near. Paragraph 1. By the century. Paragraph 3. Between and. Paragraph 3. People first lived in. Paragraph 2. In the century. Paragraph 4. Language point. Time expressions. Временные выражения. You will use these time expressions in your article. В своей письменной работе вы также будете использовать данные временные выражения. Let's read. Давайте разберем. The Beatles were first popular in the 1960s. Liverpool wasn't a big town 800 years ago. Liverpool is a big city today. Passenger boats started going to the USA in 1818. Compared with today, boats were much slower in the 19th century. In the 19th century, в 19 веке, in 1818, в 1818 году, today, сегодня, 800 years ago, 800 лет назад, in the 1960s, в 1960-х. It's time for your individual work, my dear students. А сейчас задание для вашей самостоятельной письменной работы. Exercise number 2 at page 111. Read the model text again and answer the questions. Прочитайте текст еще раз и ответьте письменно на вопросы полными предложениями. What river is Liverpool on? When did people start living in Liverpool? What was its population in the 16th century? Where did ships sail to from Liverpool? Exercise number 6 at page 111. Activate. Follow the steps in the writing guide. Notes. London. Location, population, historical events. London was a major port. Now finance and technology are more important. В этом задании вам нужно будет записать в своей тетради статью о городе с историческими фактами. You may use this information to write about London. Вы можете написать о Лондоне, используя данную информацию. Вы также можете написать вашу статью о любом другом городе. Location – расположение, population – население, historical events – исторические события. И также в последнем абзаце вам нужно будет сравнить прошлое и настоящее этого города. Look at this writing guide, please. Давайте посмотрим на наш план. Task – задание. Write an article about a town of your choice or use the notes about London. Напиши статью о городе на свое усмотрение или напиши статью о Лондоне, используя информацию в этом задании. Think and plan. Read the model text again. How many paragraphs are there? Прочитай еще раз текст-образец. Сколько абзацев было в этом тексте? Read the notes from A to F about London. What information do you want to put in each paragraph of your article? Write. Write your article and follow your paragraph plan. Look at the model text to help you. Use the key phrases and time expressions. You may use this information to help you. Вы можете использовать данную информацию для написания вашей статьи. Что вы будете включать в абзац 1, в абзац 2 и в абзац 3, в абзац 4. Посмотрите внимательно и напишите статью о городе с историческими фактами, следуя данному плану. Используйте текст в учебнике на странице 111 как образец. It's time to assess your work during the lesson. I think you worked hard today. Assess your work during the lesson. Choose your position. Thank you for attention, my dear students. Thank you for your work. It's time to say goodbye. The lesson is over. Goodbye. Have a nice day.